Nitai ki
Jai.
Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Shri Guru Parampara ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Virabhadra Goswami ki
Jai.
Sadhusat Sangha ki
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Gohananande.
Haribol.
All glories to the assembled deities.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled deities.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Gloire à Guru Ganga et Srila Prabhupada.
Swagatam, Suswagatam. So I beseech the blessings of all the devotees, particularly from Maharaj, so I can speak some words, proper words on the Srimad Bhagavatam for the sake of my own purification. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 9:14-36. King Pururava enchanted by Urvashi. Urvasyuvacha.
Urvasyuvacha.
Ma Mrita Purusha Asi Tvam Mamrita Purushosi Tvam
Mamrita Purushosi Tvam.
Masma Twa Adyu Vrika Ime Masma Twajurit Vrike Me
Masmat Vajur Vrika Ime.
Kwapi Sakyam Na Strinam Kwapi Sakyam Na Strinam Vrikanam Ridayam Yatha Vrikanam Ridayam Yatha Urvasyuvacha Mamrita Purushosi Tvam Masmat Vaju Vrikene Kwapi Sakyam Nave Strinam Vrikanam Ridayam Yatha. Please.
Mamita Purushosi Tvam Masma Vadhur Vikahime Vapi Sakyam Navai Strinam Vikanam Hridayam Yatha.
Urvashi Uvacha Mamrita Purushosi Tvam Masmat Vajur Vikaime Vapi Sakyam Navestrinam Vikanam Hridayam Yatha.
Mamrita Purushosi Tvam Masmat Vajur Vrikahime Vapi Sakyam Navaistrinam Nikanam Hridayam Yatha.
Ladies.
Mamrita Purushosi Tvam
Masmadvayurvikaime. Vapi sakyam vaistrinam. Vikanam hridayam yata.
Uvashi uvacha.
Urvashi uvacha.
Uvashi say.
Urvashi say.
Ma. Do not.
Do not.
Mrita.
Mrita.
Give up your life.
Give up your life.
Purusha.
Purusha.
Male.
Male.
Asi.
Asi.
Ar. Twam. You.
You.
Masma.
Masma.
Do not allow it.
Do not allow.
Twa.
Twa.
Unto you.
Unto you.
Adieu.
Adieu.
May eat.
May eat.
Vrika.
Vrika.
The foxes.
The foxes.
Ime.
Ime.
These senses.
These senses.
Do not be under the control of your senses.
Do not be under control of your senses.
Kwapi.
Wapi.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Sakyam.
Sakyam.
Friendship.
Friendship.
Na.
Not.
Not. They.
They.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Strinam.
Srinam.
A woman.
A woman.
Vrikanam.
Vriganam.
Of the foxes.
Of the foxes.
Hridayam.
Hridayam.
The heart.
The heart.
Yata.
Yata.
As.
As.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Urvashi said, my dear king, you are a man, a hero. Don't be impatient and give up your life. Be sober. Don't allow the senses to overcome you like foxes. Don't let the foxes eat you. In other words, you shouldn't be controlled by your senses. Rather, you should know that the heart of a woman is like that of a fox. There's no use making friendship with women. Purport. Chanakya Pandit has advised, Vishvaso neva kartavya strishu raja kuleshu cha. Never place your faith in a woman or a politician. Unless elevated to spiritual consciousness, everyone is conditioned and fallen. What to speak of women, who are less intelligent than men. Women have been compared to Shudras and Vaishyas, Striyo Vaishyas tata Shudra. On a spiritual platform, however, when one is elevated to the platform of Krishna consciousness, whether one is a man, woman, Shudra, or whatever, everyone is equal. Otherwise, Urvashi, who was a woman herself and who knew the nature of woman, say that a woman's heart is like that of a sly fox. If a man cannot control his senses, he becomes a victim of such sly foxes. But if one can control his senses, there is no chance of his being victimized by sly fox-like women. Chanakya Pandit has also advised that if one has a wife like a sly fox, he must immediately give up his life at home and go to the forest. Mata yasya grihe nasti bharya chapriya vadini aranyam tena guntavyam yataranyam tata griham. Chanakya Shlok 57. Krishna conscious grihastas must be very careful of the sly fox woman. If the wife at home is obedient and follows her husband in Krishna consciousness, the home is welcome. Otherwise, one should give up one's home and go to the forest. Hivatma patam griham andakupam vanam gato yat darim ashrayita. Bhagavatam 755. One should go to the forest and take shelter of the lotus feet of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Agyan Timilan Dasya Gyananjala Shurakaya Shakshu Militam Yena. Tashnai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manu Bishram Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dalati Shvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakanam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shama Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Samajivam Sadvitam Savadvitam Parijana Savitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinapamo Jagate Gopesh Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakam Shanegaram Gi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Ishabanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarudasha Vipasi Yahivacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanand Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Sadigor Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So, if we have time, we will discuss also about Virabhadra Prabhu. He is the son of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Great personality. So this verse is definitely quite mind-boggling at first sight. Should we spit on women? Spit.
Ah.
Who is speaking here?
So, Urvashi.
Yes, and she's a lady. So what we have to understand, according to my own petty understanding, is the propensity. We have a propensity, the proclivity, I would say, the idiosyncrasies. We are all endowed with idiosyncrasies. We have our sabbath, our nature. When we are cast into the realm of the material nature, and the Chitkana comes, the seed of the Jiv is cast by Mahavishnu, but also our sabbath. Sabbath means our conditional nature, material conditioned nature, which follows us. So Urvashi is telling us here that, first of all, it's a very good piece of advice in and of itself. She's telling the king to control his senses. She cannot go wrong in saying that. Women know better in one sense, because they can see how easily they can victimize men. I don't know if you ever spoken to a prostitute. We used to distribute books in Paris, and there's a lot of them, and they're extremely aware of the male propensity as a woman. By circumstances, they have adopted this way of life, but they have a first-hand experience of the proclivity of men. So we know that basically what she's addressing here, Urvashi, that the nature of women, if they're not Krishna conscious, they tend to seduce. They want to be seduced, and they are seducing also. That's their propensity. And what is the proclivity, the propensity of a man, the conditioned man?
To succumb to the senses.
Yeah. The Purusha Abhiman, we say in Sanskrit. The Purusha Abhiman means the enjoying mood. So she's reminding us here, so we should not at all have a black picture of ladies. She's reminding us that we have to curb our propensities. And as a lady, she's warning us how a lady can act if we're not careful. If she's not careful with herself, if we're not careful in our associating with her. So it's a very powerful, potent piece of advice that we're getting here. First-hand experience. She's a courtesan. She's not an ordinary lady. She's not from this planet Earth. She's a courtesan. She knows. She's hanging out with demigods. She's the favorite of Indra. So she knows entirely about woman nature and man's nature. So she's reminding that poor hero is a hero. It's going to be a nice ending, but for the time being, he's quite aloof. So how does it translate for us? We are practicing sadhaka devotees. Lord Krishna warns us in the Gita. Yatato yapi konteya purushasya vipassitaha. 261. Indriyani pramatini haranti prasabam manaha. So it means yatata. We're talking about the vipassitaha here. Vipassitaha means someone who is endowed with discriminating power. It means already someone who is engaged in spiritual life, in opposition to avipashitaha, discussed in 242, meaning those who are allured by the flowery words of the Vedas. They are avipashitaha. So they are not trying to control their senses. But here 260, Krishna says, even though you may be a vipassitaha, we are trying to be vipassitaha. We're trying to discriminate, aren't we, between Sat and Asat. What is Krishna? What is Maya? But Krishna is telling us here 260, yatato. Yatato means while you endeavor. So you're already a good person. You are endeavoring to discriminate. Okay? But Krishna is telling us, it's a very clear cut verse, that endeavoring, so what happened, the senses, the indriyani are stimulated constantly. And if we're not careful, even one sense, if it is not properly aligned, it can be dragged away forcefully. So we know there's different categories of people, the vikarmis, the non-devotees. They don't even care about restricting their senses. In one sense, they defile the process of Dharma, especially in France. You have seen they're quite vishayi, sense enjoyer. France, as you know, has been kind of kicking out religion for the last, at least since revolution, basically. In 1901, 1905, the state of France separated itself from the church. You do your things, we do our things. This is France. For the last 1 century. So nothing new. So they defile. You can practice at home, leave us alone. And this is basically the French mentality. They defile the process of Dharma for the sake of sense enjoyment. And that is why, what does it mean, sense enjoyment? It means premarital relationships, extramarital relationships. That's how it takes place. As long as you are duly married, you're fine. So we're not talking about this type of person here. We're talking about a vipassita, someone who is quite advanced. A sadhaka, like us. We are trying to become sadhaka. We're not talking about the karmakandis here. They are desirous of sense enjoyment on Svagalok. They're trying to promote themselves there for the sake of higher sense gratification. They are willing to restrain now for the sake of more enjoyment. But they are still not vipassitaha, they are vipassitaha. They're not trying to discriminate. So we're not talking about the Veda Vadaratas here, the so-called followers of the Vedas. They stick to the Vedic formulas, but they have an axe to grind. They are extremely fruitive. They want to get their ends met via the medium of the Vedas. We're talking about devotees here. So in ISKCON, we may pursue the process of sense gratification within the presence of Dharma. This is the tension. We always have to stick to that verse 260. Yatata, as soon as you stop yatata, Yatata means endeavoring. We have to endeavor every day because we know what it is like. As soon as you slacken your vigilance, you are prone to be
Vanquish.
you are prone to be carried away. Even one sense, not this verse but elsewhere, one sense, you may have everything control, but even one sense, Krishna says, which is uncontrolled, may drag away forcibly the rest of the senses. Why? Because we have this proclivity. She's addressing the point here. She's very helpful. She knows how women can be, and she knows how men can be. Because she's in touch with both. She's herself a woman and she deals with men. So she doesn't lie. She wants the good of that man, of Pururava, actually. And she's very well intentioned. And Srila Prabhupada is quite straightforward as usual. He's not trying to paint a rosy picture. Oh, I don't want to hurt ladies. It reminds me the story of Bhakta Tirth Maharaj. You know him, he left 2005 perhaps. He told us a story. When he joined 71, he approached Srila Prabhupada and he told him discreetly, I'm afraid, Srila Prabhupada, that your disciples are racist. Told him. What did Prabhupada reply?
You abandon this body?
More subtle. More subtle than that. He told him, if you identify to the answer, you are as guilty as them. Very interesting. If you identify to the answer, you are as guilty as them. So if we identify to this purport as a lady, some of you are here, oh, we are being put down here. It's not proper. Let me go on the campaign. we got it wrong. Your conditioning is like that. We can speak at length of the conditioning of men, the Purusha demand. We want to load it over. We want to exploit. Yadidam Dayate Jagat. Krishna says 7.5. We have this tendency to exploit the resources of material nature, including women. So we can speak at length on both sides, on both genders. There's plenty of space, plenty of materials to work on, to expose. We know very well. Ladies know where they're at. We know where we're at. So over here again, she's doing she's definitely intending well. So we know, and the example is given, we have a palm and 5 fingers. So very interesting analogy. We have Karmendriya, the organ, the sense organs, and we have Gyanendriya, the knowledge acquiring senses. And we are attracted by the sense object, which are also 5. That's why the hand is it's a good reminder. Because we have 5 senses, knowledge and active senses, and we are attracted by 5 objects of these senses. So, and we know also that the indriyas are connected to the mind. Krishna says, I think it's 15.9, as soon as you get a new body, you get a new set of senses. Like you get a new car, it's full of options. You're so happy I've got these options. So in the same way, you get a brand new body. You're quite young, like my son. A new set of senses. Brand new, it's working fine.
It's you.
So again, and which are grouped about the mind. I think 59 is that. So the mind is yoga indriya samyama. This is the key. We have to zoom in on the mind, basically. Irrespective of your path of practice, whether you are devotees or whatever, the key central focus in spiritual life is the mind, isn't it? We have to control the mind. And Krishna is telling us here, yatato yatikondriya purushasya vipassitaha. Even a man of discrimination can be carried away. Because Maya will not take into account that you are advanced, so-called. She's not going on vacation. She's always working hard. So, how does it work? I was trying to analyze this point, but regarding this class, how does it work? How the process is working, the mechanisms. So we are exposed to the sense objects, isn't it? What are the sense objects? Let's recap.
Vision.
Sense object means the time matras. You are attracted by the sense. You have senses, right? Organ. We have knowledge acquiring senses. We are attracted by the sense object. What are the sense objects? Form, the eyes, attracted by the forms.
The
The
sound.
sound,
The taste.
the taste, yeah,
Feeling.
definitely. We like to taste food, we like to speak.
Feeling.
The hands,
The texture.
we like to touch. Oh, it's soft, it is hard, it is wet, it is
Cold.
repugnant. So, when we contemplate, Jadatu Vishayam Pumsa, it's nothing new. When we contemplate the object of the senses, the desire created. The mind is a factory to create desires. What do you do in life? I manufacture desire. Renault is manufacturing cars. The mind, what is its job? Manufacturing desires. So this is, and we know 255 explains 624 also. Sankalpa Indriya Mana. In other words, the desires are just mental concoction. They are created in the mind and they are put forward and we grab them. Why? Because in the meantime, there is a connection between the senses and the sense object. And the mind is in between. The mind is like a marital agency. What is a conjugal agency? You say marital agency? You go to a marital agency, please, my dear friend. I'd like to find my better half. I will pay for it. On both sides it works like that. So this is the mind's function. It's a marital agency. It's trying to marry the senses with the sense object. So now, the mind, that desire has been created by the perception of the sense object. Now the mind, if you're not careful, this is where the vipassita gets into the picture. If you are a man of discrimination or woman of discrimination, you are very careful. If not, your mind is going to be forcefully dragged towards the sense object. Then what happens next? What is the next step?
You enjoy it.
Your desires become ignited, fueled, fired up, inflamed. Put fire on it. So just like a moth, you know the example, attracted by a fire, you go for it. So this is a warning. 260 is a very good warning. And Urvasi is a very good warning. See, actually, Urvasi is Krishna conscious, if you ask me. She's very Krishna conscious. She's playing the game. She's a courtesan. That's her job. But consciousness-wise, she's very clear-headed, if you ask me. She's very clear-headed. And at the end of the day, we're going to see Pururava is going to have a good ending. Huh? Way down the road, it's going to have a good Krishna conscious ending. So we are striving. Yatatu means what? Yatatu means endeavoring. Yatatu, yapikonteya. So we are endeavoring to withdraw the senses from the sense object. But can you do it forcibly day after day? Forcibly? I'm not going to contemplate. Does it work? What do you need? What is the glue that makes it happen? What is the criteria that's going to allow you to win over? Yes? To transcend, yeah, Krishna consciousness. Because unless, yes, Bhagavati?
Higher taste.
I'll taste. Param Drishvani Vartate. And the verse is there, a beautiful verse. This is Havi Yogendra, one of the Nava Yogendras telling King Nimi. Bhakti Pareshanu Bhavo. Beautiful verse. Viraktiya. Paresh, there's one devotee in France, Paresha, means supreme. Paresh means Krishna, basically. Bhakti Pareshanu Bhavo. If you have a direct perception of Krishna, Viraktiya, Anyatra. So if you have Prapadyamanasya, for one who is in the process of taking shelter, we are in the process. We are yatato, we are endeavoring. We are in the process of taking shelter. But we haven't taken full shelter. We are in the process. We are sadakas. We are apprentice. We are practicing. Sadaka means just like an apprentice carpenter is practicing carpentry under the purview of the master. So we are practicing. So here, Kavi Yogendra is telling us, if you focus on Lord Krishna, you may say, well, what's the benefit? So Kavi Yogendra is telling there's threefold benefit. Krishna is not a fool. He knows how much you're struggling. He can see how much we are struggling. You see, he's not aware. He knows very much where we at. So the assurance here is that in proportion to how much you surrender, you're going to get three results. Devotion, Anubhava. Anubhava means direct perception. We behold the deities. But as we practice, we get also Divyagyan Hriday Prakashito. We get realizations, right? We chant, we practice. So Krishna manifests himself within, directly. Viraktiya. Viraktiya means detached. And the example is given, it's a beautiful example. When you eat, there's threefold benefit of eating. What are the threefold? Let's say you're very hungry, there's a feast.
So you are not angry anymore.
Yes, one.
You give strength, you take strength.
Yes, two, and pleasure. Isn't there any pleasure when you eat? Mm-hmm. You're happy. And so, in the same way, Krishna consciousness is giving us pleasure, but it should give us sufficient pleasure so that we don't fall into 260. 260 means while we are endeavoring, we may succumb. Of course, Krishna even addresses the succumb part. If you read 11, 20, 27, 28 back to back, it says, speaking to Uddhav, how does it go, that verse? Anyway, in English it says, even if you have taste for Krishna consciousness, let's say you lack Krishna Katha, and yatato, you're trying to endeavor to resist taking shelter of Krishna. But that verse says, 11, 20, 27, 28, that as you tread on the path of sadhana, bhakti, as you hear, open your ears to Krishna Katha, and you know very well how bad is sense gratification. You have understood the philosophy, you give classes, you preach, nothing new, everyone knows, no one's going to deny. But at times Krishna speaks the word right there in the verse, you may succumb. Succumber. And what does Krishna say? It's very interesting what he says to Uddhav. Anyone has any clue? He addresses the psychology of a sadhaka in that verse. Look it up, 11, 20, 27.
Having awakened faith.
Yes, please, Maharaj.
In narration.
Jato Shade Matkatasu.
Having awakened faith in narrations of my glories, being disgusted with all material activities, knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery, but still being unable to renounce all sense enjoyment, my devotee should remain happy and worship me with great faith and conviction, even though he is sometimes engaged in sense enjoyment, my devotee knows that all sense gratification leads to a miserable result, and he sincerely repents such activities.
Thank you, Maharaj. We have to learn this verse. Such a beautiful verse. This is the psychology 11, 20, 27. Back to back, 27, 28. So this is the verse.
So means.
It means you fall down, you get up. Don't make it a habit though. And Krishna says, appreciate you Charo Bhajatan in your back.
That's the word repentant.
Repentant is there.
Go back.
Yeah. There should be repentance.
We can feel
Look,
this.
231 explains, beautiful verse, 331, sorry. In the purport, Prabhupada says, we should not fall into despair and moroseness. Oh, I'm finished. I have to give up my Krishna consciousness. I have to shoot myself. No, this is Maya again. Don't fall into moroseness and hopelessness and despair. So it's like a dead zone. You know, I don't know if you have seen the climbers of the Everest. You know the Everest mountain?
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a fad for those who have money to go on a trekking all the way. Before you reach to the top, there's a dead zone. I don't know if you have studied that. I mean, I read about it. There's a dead zone. Right before the top. People die. Why? Because the air is so thin. And when you go on I didn't go, but I've seen pictures. There's still so many cadavers and corpses everywhere.
No.
Yeah. They are frozen. They've been here for 30, 40 years, 50 years.
Oh my God.
And the newcomer is coming. The new trekker is reaching the top. That is his goal, the top. On the way, everyone knows, they have to traverse this dead zone. And they see the casualties here and there as they move about. So this is the fact. We are traversing the dead zone. The anartha means if we're not careful, yet at all, we have to keep on endeavoring. Take shelter, Parasha, Bhakti Parasha Nubhavo. If we take shelter of Krishna, gradually, Krishna knows. He knows. We have to get more from Krishna than from Maya. Otherwise, that's all. And of course the verse is there, Maharaj quoted the verse. Even if, even if Samantavya, Sudurava Samantavya, you remain fixed to carry on your practice. Okay, I'll stop here. Then let's talk about.
No questions, no comment. It's a big topic.
It's a big topic, yeah.
It really.
If you have it, okay, we can take a few
not just for those in female bodies. It's it's referring to all of us.
All of us.
Well,
Propensity
we all
is
got
there.
this propensity, whether we think we don't or do, we've all got these weaknesses and tendencies. Specifically, these instructions are supposed to be with men with a bit of culture, a bit of conscious culture to help everyone to advance and to disseminate the ultimate goal of human life to everybody. We're not here just to establish a body identification, but to get liberation from that condition. Whether man or woman, and all the ladies.
I hope I didn't. Actually, I didn't stump on them.
Well, it is a very sensitive issue, and everybody knows that. And I think men are often more concerned about it than the ladies in many cases, because we're all, in a sense, we're all trying to really enjoy this.
Yeah.
Whether you happen to have a male body or a female body through which to enjoy. It's the same propensity.
Definitely. It takes different shapes, but we're all in the same boat. And we have to
Or
curb
trying
the
to be
propensity.
Purusha, that which we're not. We're all by nature Prakriti, we're all by nature female.
Yeah.
by nature.
On top of that.
I guess these verses carry on. One thing interesting in that verse, in that purport, the verse which you asked me to read, is that Prabhupada makes it quite clear, well, it's not Prabhupada.
Actually, it's not Prabhupada, it's
The acharyas make it quite clear that the only solution here is the mercy of Krishna. You cannot control whatever our propensities are, whether they're, what we call this male or female tendencies, whatever they are, if they're not, let's say, favorable to Krishna consciousness. It's not that we can control these on our own, because we have to have a higher taste. But there's another aspect which is mentioned in the purport, is that it's only by the mercy of Krishna we can overcome these tendencies, or these weaknesses. In the purport, several times it's mentioned, only Lord Krishna within my heart can remove such inauspicious contamination. Yeah, and that's what Krishna consciousness means. It's not a mechanical adjustment to try to become whatever idea of perfect is, but it's the whole process is to take shelter of Krishna. When we recognize, just like the verse said, when we recognize our weaknesses and our shortcomings, we realize we haven't got, we just, whatever we are, what condition, it can evoke this mood of actual humility of taking shelter of the Lord from our own shelter. But in one sense, if you're in a position, it doesn't matter male or female, but in this particular context, in a female situation, it's a greater opportunity to turn to Krishna, take shelter of Krishna. Where we see more, generally speaking, more ladies
they are
than
softer,
men. Mostly more ladies than men are interested in religion, particularly, and even now spirituality. So we see.
Even in Islam.
It's hard to throw off these body identifications and get affected by things like this, But there's maybe 20 or 30 such instructions like this or statements or verses stating like this in the Bhagavatam. But how many verses are there in the Bhagavatam? 18,000? 18,000. You've got 17,970 directed towards the nonsense man, It's, you sort of see it in different lights, We sort of tend to think, take advantage of this. It's not. It's to help us to help serve each other and elevate each other on the body platform of life. Krishna consciousness.
It's a very good advice of coming from Obashi, actually. Yes, Prabhu.
You spoke about this dead zone, and in French we have the traversée du désert, the desert, going through the desert. The Christian they say like this.
Yeah.
So, when we are in this zone, going through this zone, should we, because we hear that devotees should be patient, and thinking that's, due to my past activities, but at the same time, we should be very eager. So should we think, when we are in the dead zone like this, no test, basically speaking, should we question, like, all the time, why I'm not testing, why? Or should we think, just have to be patient and not think too much about this?
Urvashi Mataji, I should say, she mentions about patience here. Don't be impatient and give up your life. So, I would say, as long as we take shelter, as long as we Anyabhilashita Shunyam Kamanavritam, Anukuljana Krishna Nushinanam Bhaktirutama, as long as we are favorably disposed, we're trying to please Krishna, trying to cultivate the relationship with Krishna, even though we may be harassed by our vasanas or samskar coming at us from previous conditions, we are well situated. As long as we don't act upon those vasanas and samskar, we are actually practicing pure devotional service on the platform of sadhana bhakti. If you stick to that verse, Anyabhilashita Shunyam, you are a pure devotee. You may be a pure devotee on the platform of sadhana, of Bhagavan, Bhav and Prem. But as soon as again you give importance to the sense object, you fall down for the platform of pure devotion. So this is the problem with sadhaka. Sadhaka means we are practicing. So as you practice, you may or may not. So it's a constant, we have to be alert all the time. And I would say, you're right, we should be patient. We should not fall into moroseness, or I don't taste anything. There is a taste somewhere. There's 9 processes of bhakti. So it could be prasad, it could be the books, it could be devotees, it could be music. There's a little, Krishna is not, ungrateful. He knows, he has a taste there. So we have to fuel that taste. If at least one anga we're attracted by one anga, we're okay. And when the rest of the angas are not so much attractive, we focus on this anga.
What's an anga? Not everybody knows.
Okay, anga means bhakti anga. One segment of bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Like for instance, some devotees love Mridanga, love harmonium. I like the books. So what do? I just read the books. And I know I have to do puja, and I have to take care of my wife and my kid. I do the rest, but there's a taste somewhere. So that taste should be sufficient if you feel, because it's a natural taste, so that taste should keep the rest at bay. But we have to make sure that we also cultivate the other angas. Because the main anga is chanting Hare Krishna. So this is, there was one devotee in Radhadesh, I remember. We used to call him kitchen rat. Kitchen rat. I mean,
Kirtan.
Kitchen rat.
Rasa.
Rat.
Rat. Kirtan rat.
Kitchen
rat. I'm thinking kirtan rat.
Kitchen rat.
Kitchen
I'm telling
rat.
you, he used to clean so much the pots. I would put the tilak on the pot, on the casserole. I would put my tilak on the pot. It's like,
Use the pot to look at your face.
Yeah. And 15 hours in the kitchen. Everything is spotlessly clean. And his impression was that, chanting is, serving and chanting same. So we used to tell him, Prabhu, yes, but chanting is higher. He would not get it. 15 years. One day, out of the blue, we don't sing. God must have been. So that is why the real taste should come from the mantra. But if we don't have the taste, like you said, we should fill up the other angas where we have a taste. And especially when you read, study and teach, it's always the same. Chant. So associate with devotees. It's bound to come. For him, it's going to come quicker than for him, due to the respective conditioning, due to the respective past, vasanas, samskar. But patience is there. But that's why we should not be envious. He's advancing more than me. He joined after me. He's more advanced. He's a sannyasi already. I've seen godbrothers of mine. I used to help them put their dhotis. They are sannyasis now. So what to do? This is life. We are on the same boat. So the main thing is to help each other. Make sure that we don't jump overboard. That's the main thing of the boat. So this is the main thing. As we help each other, Krishna helps us. A few words on Virabhadra Prabhu. So, it's a great, great day. Virabhadra Prabhu, Virat Chandra also. He appeared today. According to Chaitanya Charitamrita, is the greatest branch after Nityananda Prabhu. Virabhadra Goswami is the son. He has innumerable branches, sub-branches, not possible to describe them all. Who is he? What is his ontological position?
Son of Nityananda.
What do you think? He is Jiva or Vishnu Tattva? Yeah, Vishnu Tattva. He's himself Lord Vishnu. Shiludakashaya Vishnu. Yeah, incarnation of Shiludakashaya Vishnu. Expansion of Sri Shankarashan. And he had a sister whose name was Ganga. She's Ganga Devi personified.
So Nityananda have also a daughter named Ganga.
Yeah. Actually, what happened is a very interesting story. We have to hurry. How many wives did he have, Lord Nityananda? 2. Yeah. And he had children from which one? From Vasudha. So he had quite a few children. But there was one devotee, Abhiram Thakur. Abhiram Thakur is a Dwadasha Gop. Is literally one of the Gopas of Lord Balaram. He came also in Gaurila. And he had a whip, Jai Mangal. If he whips you with that whip, you get love of God. Not only that, if he pays his obeisances to you, and you're a little touchy, you leave your body. And same with the Shila. If he pays obeisances to the Shila, and the Shila is not properly installed or something, the Shila will crack. Very special character. Abhiram Thakur. So he used to come. He used to come to the house of Nityananda Prabhu. His disciple is a goat coming from the spiritual world. And what happened, it's hard to understand. He had many children, Nityananda Prabhu. Each time this Prabhu would pay us obeisances.
Many children?
Sorry?
He had many children.
Yeah, it's mentioned. The son of Nityananda Prabhu would leave the body. So then, when he had this son, Virabhadra Prabhu.
10 left?
Sorry?
10 children left the body or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot the number, but it's quite a few.
They
Then-
all left their body except for the 2.
Yeah, so this is coming to that one, Virabhadra Prabhu. When his wife was about to deliver Vasudha, Nityananda Prabhu told one devotee, please you stay at the Ganga. Make sure he doesn't cross. Make sure he doesn't come this way. Abhiram Thakur. And lo and behold, he came. And he paid obeisances, and this one survived. This is Virabhadra Prabhu. So, he took initiation from his auntie. Who is the auntie? Dhanava. So, one day, Shri Janavama, she was called Ishvari. She went to the house of one devotee, Jadunandan Acharya, Jamatpur, near Rajbol. By the grace of this, he had 2 extremely devoted daughters, Srimati and Narayani, and their beauty excelled mortal beauty. So Janava, she entrusted those 2 daughters to this Virabhadra Prabhu. He married those 2 daughters. And then Yadunandan Acharya became the disciple of Virachandra Prabhu. And his 2 wives were given initiation by Janava. Virachandra Prabhu, he had a daughter whose name was Ganga Devi. She's the daughter of Nityananda. He had a sister, sorry. And Ganga Devi is the daughter of Nityananda Prabhu. And the husband of Ganga was formerly King Shantanu. Interesting, huh? All these things are crisscrossed between Gaurila and Krishna Lila. Shantanu became the husband of Mother Ganga. who was the daughter of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Anyway, I don't want to take your time. It's already almost 9:05. I couldn't finish, but I'll leave it here. You can read.
Can you say at least one specific thing about Virabhadra, later what he did in his life? Or?
Yeah, there's one interesting story. And it's very pertinent to ISKCON today. Prabhupada told us, don't jump over. Remember? It's connected to the Ritvik fallacy. You know what is the Ritvik system? Only Prabhupada is qualified, no one is qualified, no one should give initiation because you're not fit. Only he is fit. So you initiate on his behalf for time immemorial. Basically, that's Ritvik. Never was there a trace of that. There's no precedent of that in the Shastra. Nowhere to be seen. So, there was one devotee, Jai Gopal Prabhu. He was a disciple of Virat Chandra Prabhu. And you know what he did? Even in those days, he claimed to his guru, I'm a disciple of your father, Lord Nityananda. And that's bogus. As if I was going to say, I'm a disciple of Prabhupada. That's Ritvikism, basically. He did Ritvik. So what happened is, Virabhadra Prabhu, he wrote a letter to Srinivasacharya, the great soul. Nana Shastra Vicharane Kanipno. And he exposed the problem. I had to reject this Jai Gopal because he was Ritvik, basically. Jumping over. So this is nothing new. Nothing new. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Urvasi ki Srila Virabhadra Prabhu ki
Jai.
Gopamanande
Prabhu ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki
What is more or less success? Something like a long
Good with YouTube. When you go live, how you can upload it rather than discard it. It's live now.
Is it live on YouTube? Oh,
Yeah.
Prabhu, I have no idea. So, this X maybe? I'm not sure. You can
No,
try.
it says,
Video
Prabhu, can you help us for a minute?
Yeah.
It says, maybe you can also. We did live first time on YouTube, but we are trying to upload it rather than discard it. Maybe you can read at French.
Perhaps I can. Let me see. You have to.
What's it says? You want? Voulez-vous? Yeah. It stops, but is it saying that you can upload it? Vraiment? Really? You want really stop
Voulez-vous
the?
vraiment arrêter? Would you rather really stop this?
Yes, stop, but we have to upload it on our channel.
So it's just stop it. It's just ask if it's stopping.
Yeah, should I? I'll stop it then.